So today morning 9 to 12 we have anthropology final test. So my first impression about this question paper is 155 out of 400, 8 into 5, 8 into 40, we have to attempt 5 out of 8 questions. So out of 8 questions, 5 we need to attempt, and 8 into 50 marks is 400 marks question paper. For 400 marks question paper, 155 marks are from physical anthropology. So I believe that since last 4-5 years, these many questions from physical anthropology, this is new trend. So they asked more questions on physical anthropology. I counted, it is 155. It is 155 marks. So approximately 35%. Approximately 35% of the complete question paper is from physical anthropology. So this is first my first impression on this particular question paper. Second is, if you remember, I used to tell multiple times that we should not read units in silos. We have to not read topics in silos, means in isolations never we should read. We should read in integration. One beautiful question is there, I believe it is second question or third question. They asked a question on biocultural, ecological, adaptable, political, economical. 6 topics were been asked. Political, economical, ecological, adaptation, biological, cultural. 6 topics were been asked in one question. 6 different topics were been asked in one question. So how we have to have a proper approach for such sort of questions, and what are the model answers for this, what is the structure of this particular question answers, I will be explaining in this particular session. But it is moderate, more than moderate. So easy, moderate, tough. I keep it in above moderate, means if I give from 0 to 100% with respect to toughness, 60% tough paper with this. I am not telling it is easy, I am not telling it is moderate, it is little bit more than moderate. This is my standard for this particular question paper. But one thing is there, whenever UPSC asks the questions in tough, the evaluation will be little bit liberal. This is a conviction where the people will believe. From this, we will understand the first question, 1 into 5, what is the first question which was been asked. If you see, 5 questions, compulsory questions, Mendelian, non-Mendelian, theoretical significance of Purum kinship systems, Osteodontokeratic culture and its makers, Osteodontokeratic culture, smell as a signal among the human primates, culture and embodiment. These are the 5 compulsory questions. So what should be our approach? This is the first question. What should be our approach? We will look into it. So section A, 10 marks it is, 150 words you need to write, 150 words you should write within 9 minutes. So Mendelian and non-Mendelian, answer is, Mendelian genetics is monogenetic inheritance, Mendelian genetics is monogenetic inheritance, and non-Mendelian is polygenetic inheritance. So this 2 points, if you remember, you can write a very good answer. Mendelian genetics mainly talks about dominant or recessive. Mendelian mainly talks about law of dominance, law of segregation, law of independent assortment. Whereas the opposition to monogenetic inheritance, the opposition to Mendelian genetics is what? Polygenetic inheritance in man. So this polygenetic inheritance in man will tell that one gene will not be responsible for one factor. Multiple genes coordinate, multiple genes on multiple chromosomes will coordinate together for one particular expression, where there is also a role of environment. This was been not told by Mendel. So Mendel's what he told, and non-Mendel is what? So Mendel is nothing but monogenetic inheritance. Mendel is nothing but monogenetic inheritance. Non-Mendel is nothing but polygenetic inheritance. Here there is dominant factor is there. Here there is recessive factor is there. Here there is independent factor is there. Here there is combination is there. Combination of domination and inheritance. There will be environmental role is there in non-Mendelian genetics. And here there is something called as law of equivalence. If you remember, there is something called as law of equivalence, which is called as whether dominant trait will be there, recessive trait will be there. Here what? There is absence of law of dominance, means what? Gender specific. Here there is no gender specific. P plans of Mendel, there is no gender specific. universal it is. Law of equivalence, all male, female, nothing, all are equivalent. Whereas in non-Mendelian, what will happen? If it is coming from male, if it is coming from female, whether it is coming from male, whether it is coming from female. So Mendelian genetics is applicable in non-human beings, whereas non-Mendelian genetics will be applicable in human beings. Like this we need to understand. So Mendelian and non-Mendelian traits means while you are writing an answer, you have to be very clear and mention that Mendelian genetics mainly talks about single gene having single feature, single gene having single trait. Either it can be dominant, either it can be recessive, which is called as law of independent assortment, which he explained to the laws called as law of dominance, law of segregation, law of independent assortment. Whereas non-Mendelian genetics is what? Non-Mendelian traits is that which is against Mendelian genetics, whereby one gene will not have one expression, multiple genes coordinate together to give one expression. So polygenetic inheritance in man you have to draw one, this one also, whereby this is average traits will be maximum and minimal traits will be very less in number, minimal traits will be very less in number, but average traits will be maximal in frequency. So in this way you have to write answer for Mendelian and non-Mendelian. 9.2 of paper 1. Second question. Theoretical significance of Purum kinship systems. Why? Why he asked and how we have to write the answer. See, kinship systems, we know that kinship system will first, how we have to write the answer. Kinship system. First intro talks about kinship system. Kinship system is a socio-cultural system where it will explain about whom one should marry, whom one should not marry, where he has to stay after his marriage, how he can inherit the property. These all rules will be given in the rules of descent, and the rules of descent are part of kinship systems. And one of the oldest kinship systems in the world is Purum kinship system. One of the oldest kinship systems in the world is Purum kinship systems, and Purum kinship systems is of whom? Purum kinship systems of Tibeto-Sino-Tibetan racial group, and this kinship system is written in the language called as Metis. You know that there was a conflict happened, there is conflict happened between Metis versus Kukis. So why they asked about Purum kinship system? So Metis language, Meti people also will use this particular Purum kinship system, and they are mainly very traditional in nature. They are very traditional in nature, very rigid in nature, traditional in nature, very rigid in nature, rule bound. Fifth, they have 5 lineages. They have 5 lineages, and they very strictly follow what? Exogamy and endogamy. Means what? Within this Purum people, they will marry outside the lineage, but in any cost they have to marry within themselves. Purum. And one anthropologist, Butler, studied about Purum kinship system, and he told that this is one of the oldest kinship systems in the world. They are patriarchal in nature. They are patriarchal in nature. These many points we have to write. First, why he asked this Purum kinship system? Why? Because Purum kinship system is associated with Meti. So Metis versus Kuki was a conflict which was present in the news. So Metis, they also follow this particular kinship system which is called as Purum kinship system. What it is? It is very traditional, very rigid, very customs oriented kinship system. One of the oldest kinship system according to the anthropologist called as Butler. And how many lineages are there in Purum kinship system? 5 lineages are there. And they follow what type of marriage system? Exogamy and endogamy. One lineage will not marry among themselves, but they will marry outside the lineage, but they should marry within the Purum kinship system. So this is the second points for second answer. I gave the reasoning also. Why they gave this, why they asked this question? Because it is associated with Metis. It is associated with Meti language, and one of the oldest kinship systems of the world is this. Who are the people following this? Sino-Tibetan racial group. These are the people following this particular kinship system. Third, Osteodontokeratic culture. Osteodontokeratic culture. Dont means tooth, kero means horn, oisto means bone. First point. Second point, this is the culture followed by Australopithecines. So this is the culture which is followed by Pithecines. Here there is one controversy. Wherever the Australopithecines were being found, it can be gracile variety or robustus variety. Gracile varieties are what? Anamensis, Afarensis, Anamensis, Africanus, and robustus varieties are what? Paranthropus robustus, Paranthropus bossi. So these people used to follow this particular culture called as Osteodontokeratic culture. Osteodontokeratic culture is that particular culture where they are using the tools made up of bones, horns, tooth. But here there is one controversy, that is whether this particular tools were being intentionally made or this were being accidentally found. If these tools made up of bones, horns, tools were made intentionally, means they are more advanced people. But we know that chronologically non-lithic tools, which is called as non-stone tools, were being used from lower Paleolithic, upper Paleolithic, lower Paleolithic, middle Paleolithic, upper Paleolithic. In upper Paleolithic only we started using what type of tools? Non-lithic tools, non-stone tools. So chronologically in upper Paleolithic we are using non-lithic tools like bone or horn or tooth. Then how these Australopithecines are using non-lithic tools like what? Bone, horn and tooth. This was one controversial thing which is associated with Osteodontokeratic culture. Hence because of this controversial thing, they asked about this particular culture called as Osteodontokeratic culture. So the man who is associated with this is Australopithecines. The time period is how much? 5 million years ago. The time period is what? 5 million years ago. These points you have to write for 10 marker. Got it? Fourth question. Smell as a signal among non-human primates. See, if you remember, I told that any question on primate you need to draw one diagram. This diagram I told. Any question on primate, you have to draw one diagram, I told repeatedly. This diagram, living primates, prosimians, anthropoid. Prosimians are lemurs, tarsies, larsiers. Then anthropoids are further divided into New World monkeys, Old World monkeys. Old World monkeys are further divided into Old World monkeys and hominoid. Hominoid is further divided into lesser hominid, greater hominid and hominoid. Means we people. Any question on primates we need to write this particular diagram I told. So question is smell as a signal among non-human primates. So in this particular non-human primates, all this, if you remember, lemurs, larsiers, tarsiers, if you remember, they used to have snot. This particular region is called as what? Snot. This snot is largely developed. This is largely developed. Why it is largely developed? According to theory of use and disuse given by Lamarck. If you use more, it will develop more. So the primates, they used to use what? The primates used to use what? Smell. So how I came to know? Because the olfactory senses, the olfactory things or these olfactory organs are more protruding. That is the reason the olfactory, the snot region is protruding. So how this smell they are using? How you will write answer? So primates are those species on earth which are similar to human being but are not completely human being, but having the features of human and non-human beings. So we will understand the classification of primates, the diagram we will draw. Then if we see the prosimians who are the variety of primates, like larsiers, tarsiers and lemurs, their snout region is very well developed. From this we can come to a conclusion that these primates which are non-human, they are using their smell for their locomotion. They are using their smell for their evolution. They are using their smell for their movement. How I came to know? I came to know this because of the developed snort region. First, chimpanzee will be smelling and identifying its family members. Chimpanzee will be smelling and identifying its family members. Who are his family members, who are not his family members will be identified by smell. Next, baboon. It will draw a territory. I told this. It will draw a territory. Within the territory, it will be staying. It will be singing and staying in the territory. So when it is staying in the territory, it will smell, and it will understand through smell whether it is their own territory or outside the territory. Means what they are using to identify the territory? Smell. It can be the baboon. It can be the chimpanzee. Orangutan, it will eat the bark of the tree. While it is eating the bark of the tree, whether the bark of the tree is dry or wet, it will be notifying it by smelling. Smell as a signal among non-human primates. So we will not discuss about human beings. We will discuss about prosimians, we will discuss about anthropoids other than human beings. So for them how? So we will draw one diagram also. A chimpanzee diagram where the snout is more. Prosimians diagram, one chimpanzee diagram, and olfactory senses, theory of use and disuse of Lamarck also we will bring. Why the snout is larger? Because of theory of use and disuse given by Lamarck. So snout has been developed. Snout has been developed means what is the conclusion? Why the snout will be developed? Because they are using more. They are using means what? Smell as a signal. Using more means what? Smell as 3 examples you can draw. You can write. One example is chimpanzee, another example is baboon, another example is orangutan. This diagram is compulsory. This figure is compulsory. If you remember or not, I told 2 things. Any question on primates, draw one diagram of primate, draw this classification also I told. Multiple times I told. Yes. In 10 marker, if you draw this diagram, prosimians diagram, why? Because the question is there, no, non-human primates. These are primates only, living primates. Next question. Culture and embodiment. How we have to write? Culture definition, you can write E.B. Taylor's definition, Malnovisky's definition. Culture definition you will write. Then culture characteristics you will write. What are the characteristics of culture? Culture is symbolic in nature. Culture is dynamic in nature. Culture is spiritual in nature. So all the characteristics of culture you will write. Now, culture and embodiment. So first part is what? Culture definition. Second is what? Characteristics of culture. Third is what? Culture and embodiment. What is culture and embodiment? Culture is represented in the form of language. Yes or no? Who told this? Culture is represented in the form of language. Culture and language both are homologous. Who told? Levi-Strauss. Levi-Strauss. Culture is represented in the form of symbols. Who told? Symbolic anthropologists. Victor Turner, David Snyder. Symbolic anthropology. Cultural things are represented in the form of symbols. Symbolic anthropology. David Snyder, Victor Turner. Culture is represented in the embodiment means what? What is the English meaning of embodiment? How it is represented. How it is represented. How it is expressed. Though culture is represented in the form of language, culture is represented in the form of symbols, culture is represented in the form of religion. Culture is represented in the form of dress, food items, which is called as materials. Who told? Cultural materialism. Culture materialism. Gordon Child, Leslie White, and main person? Marvin Harris. Gordon Child, Leslie White, and Marvin Harris. Culture is nothing but ecology. How the ecology will be there, accordingly the culture will be there. Who told this? Culture ecology theory by Julian Stewart. Culture embodiment. How the culture is represented. We tell no, you are embodiment of your father. We will tell that you are the embodiment of your father. Means how your father is there, you are like this. Culture is represented in the form of language. Culture is represented in the form of symbols. Culture is represented in the form of religion. Durkheim told. Culture is represented in the form of dress and food. Culture is represented in the form of ecology. Who told? Julian Stewart. in the concept called as culture, ecology. Culture and embodiment, 2 pages. One side heading, 2 pages completed. Discuss the Miocene hominoid remains and their significance in evolution. First, timeline we have to remember. Timeline. If you remember, I gave you one geological time scale printout. I gave you geological time scale printout. Miocene means 23 million years ago to 5 million years ago. Miocene age in the geological time scale is 23 million years ago to 5 million years ago. Now you tell me, in this discuss the Miocene hominoid remains and their significance in evolution. What are the hominoid remains which you studied in this particular timeline? Shivapithecus, 14 million years ago. Ramapithecus, somewhere 12 to 14 million years ago. Dryopithecus, just one sentence we understood. Dryopithecus. So these are the species which were been present from 23 million years ago to 5 million years ago. Which diagram we have to draw, sir? Skupin phylogenetic status. Skupin phylogenetic status, one diagram was there. Any question on fossils, any question on hominoid, any question on human evolution, we have to draw one Skupin's evolution. That evolution we have to write. Then you will mention about Shivapithecus, then you will mention about Ramapithecus, then you will mention about Dryopithecus. Dryopithecus what? If you remember, I told you. When we got Australopithecines of 5 million years ago, the dentition of Australopithecines and 15 million years ago, Dryopithecus dentition was same. But the postcranial features are not same. So hence we are unable to conclude that Australopithecines had evolved into, or the Dryopithecus has evolved into Australopithecines. But with dentition we can come to a conclusion that there is similarity between Australopithecines and Dryopithecus. But damn sure we cannot tell that Dryopithecus is the ancestor of modern man, but Australopithecines is the ancestor of modern man. So 4 points. Why? Because the question is what? Significance in evolution. Shivapithecus significance in evolution. Orangutan male version or female version? Male version. Ramapithecus orangutan male version or female version? Female version. Dryopithecus is similar in dentition with Australopithecus. But we cannot come to a conclusion that Dryopithecus has evolved into man or not, but Dryopithecus evolved into Australopithecines. But Australopithecus 5 million years ago. Which man? Australopithecus. This Australopithecus man 5 million years ago is a 100% ancestor of modern man. That too which man? Australopithecus africanus. Which baby? Tuang baby. Tuang baby. See, like this we have to connect. So it's not about Miocene we studied or not. So Miocene timeline is what? 23 million years ago to 5 million years ago. 23 million years ago to 5 million years ago, what all fossils we studied? We studied about Ramapithecus, we studied about Shivapithecus, we had a passing reference of Dryopithecus. We also studied about Australopithecus. Why? Because till 5 million years ago. So 5 million years ago, Australopithecus also you have to write. If you remember, if any fossil question is asked, I gave you 7 points. Number 1, who discovered, where it got discovered, what is the timeline, what are the physical features, what are the cultural features, what are the unique features which are associated to it, and conclusion. 7 paragraphs. Compare and contrast the symbolic approaches of Clifford Geertz. Interpretative, Turner. Transformational. Compare and contrast, he only asked, compare and contrast. Symbolic approaches of Clifford Geertz and Victor Turner. So we understood the question is on what? UPSC almost 2 years they are asking about symbolic anthropology. Symbolic anthropology is also called as symbolism. The symbolic anthropology mainly talks about how the culture is represented in the form of symbols. In order to understand the symbolic anthropology, three thinkers had elaborated the school of symbolic anthropology: David Snyder, Victor Turner, and Clifford Geertz. First, David Snyder. David Snyder, what he told? Classification. One classification. But he didn't ask about David Snyder. Just you will give the passing reference of David Snyder. Second is what? Clifford Geertz. Geertz, interpretative. How culture is represented, how culture is interpreted was been told by whom? Clifford Geertz. Culture definition is also given by Clifford Geertz. The culture is how I interpret it. How I interpret, how it is present in my mind. How the culture is represented, interpreted, the culture is represented, how it is present in my mind. For that, what he told? The culture is in the form of book, a text where the pages are interpretations. There is difference between wink and blink. Wink means like this. There is a meaning in it. This is what? Blink. So, if I do like this means there is something meaning which is coming out. So, how there is a difference between the wink and blink? Similarly, there are specific meanings for every symbol in the culture. Who told that? Clifford Geertz. He studied what? Balinese society. If you remember, he studied what? Balinese society. In Balinese society, what? Cockfights. Interpreted. Balinese society, what he studied? Cockfights. If they want to solve any problem, if they want to come out of any problem, they will go for what? Cockfights. Why cockfights? Cockfights are their cultural symbols. If they win in their cultural symbols, that means they won. Transformational. If you remember, transformational. Victor Turner, Dembu Society. Dembu Society. White sap milk. A newborn baby will be given with white sap milk. When the newborn baby is given with white sap milk, then the baby who grows into an adult, he will work for or she will work for the social progression of the society, for the social progress of society. So, whether transforming the individual or not. I gave you one joke also for this. What? If any individual became anti-social element, if any person become anti-social element, then the mother will come and I gave you Dembu white sap milk immediately after your birth, why still you are behaving like this? Then he will reform. Oh, I got white sap milk, I should not behave like this. So, there is a transformation. So, how the symbols are responsible for transformation was been told by whom? Victor Turner. Here we will also add this point, rites the passage. In the process of man's life, when he is moving from one phase of life to another phase of life, phases of transition. So, there is transformation in his way of living. That also was been told by whom? Victor Turner. So, it is 2B, 15 marker. First, you will write about symbolic anthropology. 3 anthropologists are part of this particular school. One is David Snyder, Clifford Geertz, Victor Turner. 3 people you will talk about. And mainly, he asked only about Geertz and Turner. So, I will focus on Geertz and Turner. Interpretative. He also gave a very good definition of culture, if you remember. Historically transmitted patterns of symbols. Historically transmitted patterns of symbols which are having meanings, and those meanings are inherently present in the minds of the people. The people's behavior will be according to how it is fixed in the minds of the people. Was been told by whom? Clifford Geertz. Victor Turner. Transformation. It will transform. Dembu society. After marriage, every stage, before puberty, how he will be there, after puberty, how there is a transformation. Before marriage, how the person will be there, after marriage, how he will transform. Culture will be teaching. Transformation. You have to transform now. Writes the passage. 2B. This is a beautiful question. How political, how economical is integrated with ecology, adaptation. How political economy is integrated with ecological adaptable perspectives of question is incomplete. Is integrated with ecological adaptability perspectives in biocultural anthropology. Now you see, one question, 6 topics asked. How political economy is integrated with ecological and adaptability perspectives in biocultural anthropology. Now see here. How political economy is integrated with ecological and adaptability perspectives in biocultural anthropology. Now first how you will see. Biology. If I want to survive in this ecology, then I have to adopt. In biology, if I want to survive in this ecology, then I have to adopt. For example, what? Hot climate, cold climate, and high altitude. How man is adapting in order to survive in this ecology. These are called as what? Biological adaptations. Next. And these biological adaptations are insufficient. So he is coming up with what? Cultural adaptations. What are the cultural adaptations? For example, in hot climate, ACs. What are the cultural adaptations in cold climates? Igloo form of housing and apron form of dress. And what are the cultural adaptations in high altitude? Transhuman type of living. Transhuman type of living. In summer season they will be living on the tops and winter season they will be coming down. Now, and apart from this, there are also political changes. There are also economical changes. Now you see, this 4 answer you studied, not only you, everyone studied about this. Your mind should act on the examination hall. This is what 9.7. How we are adapting to the biology, how we are adapting the ecology. Adaptation to the ecology. How many adaptations are there? Biological adaptations are there and cultural adaptation. Then what happened? This biological and cultural adaptations were insufficient. So they came up with what adaptations? Political adaptations. Economical adaptations, how political changes were being brought, how economical changes were being brought. For example, the people who are living on high altitude, their economic subsistence is what? Pastoralism. Their economic subsistence is what? Pastoralism. Why? If he do agriculture, agriculture is what? Sedentary. He will be living in one particular place. But if he is living in high altitude, only summer season he will be living on the top and winter season he will be coming down. So he cannot do agriculture. Then for such sort of people, what would be the economical adaptation? Pastoralism. If he had pastoralism, when he is going on to the hilltop, he will take sheep with him. When he is coming down, he will take sheep with him. So economical subsistences, economical things are also adapted to the ecology. Economic subsistence, economical systems are also adapted to the ecology. Similarly, political systems. With the change in time, people understood that one man should not rule. So band level political organization changed it to tribe level political organization, tribe level political organization changed it to kingdom, chiefdom level political organization. Eventually every man got enough knowledge, hence became what? State level political organization. So adopting the state level political organization is adapting to the ecology. And adapting to the ecology as per the ecological conditions. People got information, people got enough knowledge, people got enough information. So now they are not accepting the earlier traditional political systems. Now they want modern political systems like what? Democracy. How 6 side headings are there here? One political side heading, economical side heading, ecological side heading, and adaptation. Again, I will read the question. How political economical is integrated, how political economy is integrated with ecological and adaptability. Perspectives in biocultural anthropology. Means that is one, biocultural anthropology. One more point we can write it, 2C. Cultural anthropology is nothing but changes in political systems and economic systems is called as cultural anthropology. Next paragraph. The cultural anthropology is nothing but the political and economical adaptations. Whereas biological anthropology is how we are changing biologically in order to adopt in this particular ecology. It's called as biological anthropology. Hence, biocultural anthropology or biological cultural anthropology is nothing but for the sake of survival of man, evolution of man, how he is adopting economic systems, political systems is called as biocultural anthropology. Next. How anthropologists assess the nutritional status of a community. How? How anthropologists assess the nutritional. I will see only this. Whether the person's height is according to age, whether the person's weight is according to age, whether the height is according to the height. Discuss the significant nutritional of anthropology, significance of nutritional anthropology, intersectionality of ecology, culture and social inequality in the study. 3A. Discuss the significance of intersectionality of ecology, culture, social inequality in the study of nutritional anthropology. You tell me. My nutrition is dependent upon ecology or not? My nutrition is dependent upon ecology or not? For example, Syrian people, Palestinian people will consume olive oil, whereas we people will consume groundnut and sunflower oil. We know that groundnut and sunflower oil is high in fat content, whereas olive oil is good in protein content. So my nutrition is dependent upon my ecology or not? They are, when we talk about the fat content which is present in South Indian population and the Palestinian population, Palestinian people fat content is less, hence the people are less in obese, whereas in India the population are having more fat content and the obese people are more. It is not because of their overeating, it is because of their. Second, culture, the nutrition. Tripuri tribal people will not consume milk. Korwa people will not consume salt. Orang Asli population of Paraguay, Orang Asli population of Paraguay will consume only 17 varieties of food items. Milk and liver are not consumed by Maasai tribe. Orthodox Jewish, Orthodox Muslims people will not consume will not consume pork, whereas Hindus will not consume beef. So beef is a cheap protein, people should consume it. Pork is good in fat content, people should consume it. Means our nutrition is dependent upon, with examples we have tried. Social inequality, most important. My nutrition is mainly dependent upon my social status. My nutrition is mainly dependent upon my economical status, yes or no? If my family is rich, then I will get very nutritious food. If my family is socially high, then I will get very good food. If my family is socially low, obviously I will not get all varieties. So my nutritional stress is also dependent upon my social inequality. Hence, I am pushed into nutritional stress. Discuss the significance of intersectionality. Means ecology, culture, social inequality, These three are responsible for what? Nutritional stress. Got it? Direct question, nutritional stress. In 3 units we will study. In 9.8, epidemiological anthropology, nutrition related deficiency disorders. 10th unit we will discuss in the growth and development, various factors are there. One of the factors is called as nutrition. 12th unit we will study nutritional anthropology. 3B. Critically examine the drawbacks in assuming culture as a system integrated closed. Critically examine the drawbacks in assuming culture as an integrated system. First, culture, 15 marker. Culture is a combination of material and non-material aspects. Culture is a way of living. Culture is the design in itself. Then your understanding of culture you will write. Then culture definition of any person. Malnovisky's culture definition you will write. Then assuming culture as an system integrated close. Culture as an integrated closed. In culture, whether we follow endogamy, in culture, whether we will follow endogamy, whether endogamy is a part of culture, when endogamy is a part of culture, whether we will marry outside or whether we will marry inside. When we are marrying inside means whether we are closed or open, closed. Endogamy. Second, few cultures will tell that people occupation is based upon their birth. Occupational based birth based occupation. In Indian culture, birth based occupation. Your birth will tell what should be your occupation. So whether I am closed or open? Closed. Whether I can shift my occupation? No. Occupation. 3. Commensality restriction. Whether I can freely eat with other people or I have to eat only with my community people. So commensality restriction. So I will write about culture as an integrated closed. So these are, every culture is closed. They want to be among themselves. They have their own rules and regulations. They have their own customs. They have their own myths. Yes or no? ప్రతి కల్చర్కి వాళ్ళకంటూ మిత్స్ వాళ్ళకంటూ రూల్స్ ఉంటాయా లేకపోతే ఏది పడితే ఫాలో అవుతారా? క్లోజ్డ్. వెన్ దే ఆర్ ఫాలోయింగ్ దేర్ స్పెసిఫిక్ రూల్స్, వెన్ దే ఆర్ ఫాలోయింగ్ దేర్ స్పెసిఫిక్ మిత్స్ మీన్స్ దే ఆర్ ఫాలోయింగ్ దేర్ ఓన్. When they are following their own rules means culture is closed or open? Closed. Now you see. In understanding of contemporary society. But in contemporary societies, the cultures are not closed. People are into contact with each other. Migrations are happening. Interracial marriages, intercaste marriages, interreligious marriages are happening. Globalization is responsible for many occupations. So caste, cultural contact is increasing. Culture contact is increasing. More culture contact, globalization, liberalization, privatization, merit is given importance. Hence, the culture as an integrated closed system is deteriorating or enhancing? But what is the key word? Critically examine. But however, there are few cultures, because they are closed, they are evolving like centennials. There are communities, because they are closed, so they can protect their own cultures. Because they are closed, they are having their unique traditional knowledge like Ayurveda. This example you will write. Sherpa tribal people have solo herb, which will enhance their immune system when anyone goes onto the high altitude. So closed is good. Then conclusion. Why? Because what is the keyword? I told closed system is also good. Why I told? Critically examine. Then conclusion. But however, in today's society, where contact, liberalization, privatization, globalization, merit, development, welfare, interactions are given importance, the culture should not be closed, the culture should be open. But however, the culture core should be protected. Here we will bring tribal examples also. The tribal culture should be protected. On the name of cultural integration, if tribal cultures are integrated, they might lose their own culture. So there is a need for very careful approach towards culture protection. Hence, tribal Panchasheel of Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru is significant here. What Pandit Jawaharlal will tell that we have to give them schemes, we have to develop them, but we have to protect their culture. Yes or no? Answer, many of you know. Question is little bit tricky. At that moment, 1 minute if you think, then you write answer, you will get perfect answer. Differentiate between pedigree and genealogical analysis. Same, no, genealogy or pedigree is same. Genealogy is socio-cultural context, pedigree is health and disease context. In health and disease we call it as pedigree, in social and cultural context we call it as genealogy. Discuss the history and application of these methods in anthropological studies. Pedigree analysis you will write, genealogical methods you will write, pedigree analysis of 9.1 you will write, tools of data collection, genealogical study of 8.1, 8.A, tools of data collection, observation, interview, observation, interview, questionnaire, schedule, genealogical methods is there or not? So see, genealogical methods of anthropological thought, pedigree analysis of physical anthropology, both he asked. What is the difference? Genealogical diagrams are nothing but family diagram with respect to socio-cultural context, whereas pedigree analysis is a tree diagram with respect to health and disease. Both are same only. Pedigree you will write, genealogical method you will write. Frank Galton is the person who studied about pedigree you will write. Genealogical studies are emphasized by whom? W.H.R. Rivers. Two anthropologist names we got. Discuss the history and application of these methods in anthropology. Yes, this is helping in detection of genetical disease like what? Autosomal dominant, autosomal recessive, X dominant, X recessive, Y linked inheritance. Whereas genealogical studies will tell us whom one should marry, whom one should not marry, how, where he has to live, patriarchal or patrilineal, ambilineal, this all we will come to know by genealogical studies. Sir, so it seems to be question paper is, as you told, it is above moderate, sir. True. Then how, sir? Practice. Answer is same. Answer is not different. Answer is same. But the question format is next. Anthropology provides a multi-dimensional understanding of human beings by bridging the gap between science and humanities. Elucidate. Elucidate means with example. First I will start with example. Science and humanities. See now. Science will tell that that person is suffering with any disease or not. It will diagnose and it will give the treatment. But anthropology will find the reason behind it. For example, Korwa people who are suffering with goiter, the science told that you are suffering with goiter disease because you people don't have iodine. Because of iodine deficiency, you people are suffering with goiter was been told by science. But anthropology analyzed and anthropology told that you people are deficient in iodine because your culture is telling that you should not consume table salt. As you are not consuming table salt, you people are having iodine deficiency, because of which you are having which disease? Goiter disease. So this is the gap between the science and anthropology. Culture point of view, social point of view, population point of view, understanding will be given by which discipline? Anthropology. Science is objective, anthropology is subjective and objective. Science is objective, anthropology is objective as well as subjective. Interpretations will be there in anthropology, there will be no interpretations in science. A multi-dimensional understanding of human beings. What are the multi-dimensional? Social point of view, culture point of view, environment point of view, biology point of view, religion point of view, more, geography point of view, yes or no? Hot climate, cold climate, geography or not? Geography point of view, disease point of view, epidemiological anthropology, sports point of view, kinanthropometry, sports point of view, nutritional point of view, defense point of view, forensic point of view. Anthropology provides a multidimensional understanding of human beings by bridging in social context, in economical context, in environmental context, biological context, in religious context, geographical context, disease context, sports context, nutritional point of view, defense point of view, forensic point of view, political point of view, economical point of view, more the number of points. Then science and humanities, elucidate. I took the example of whom? Why? Because the keyword is what? Elucidate. Science will find the reason behind it. Anthropology will find the cultural reasons behind it. Write a note on Mousterian tool. Repeatedly I told you, few words will be there, you have to by heart I told. I remember each and word what I told. Mousterian tool tradition, Middle Paleolithic. I told out Mousterian, Middle Paleolithic. Middle Paleolithic is famous for what? Flake tools. If it is Middle Paleolithic means blindly what we have to remember? Flake tools. Which technique we have to remember? Levalloisian technique. Finished, done. Middle Paleolithic. Everything you have to write. Write a note on Mousterian tool tradition, Mousterian culture and its makers. Middle Paleolithic. You will draw about flake tools, pressure flaking, Levalloisian technique. Hand axis is also present. The size of the hand axis has been reduced from lower Paleolithic to Middle Paleolithic. Mousterian, where we got? In France. James Fraser's theory of evolutionism elucidates the place of religion in modernity. James Fraser. Classical evolutionism, which evolutionism? Classical evolutionism. Classical evolutionism. Very good. 19th century. Next. British anthropologist. Next. Father of British anthropology. I have tried about him, no? Father of British anthropology. Next. He is very famous for one book called as Golden Bough. Next. And his main contribution is what? That is the reason he asked about what? Religion. Magic, religion and science. Very good. And James Fraser's Golden Bough, he's influenced other anthropologists like Malnovisky. Classical. Critically examine James Fraser's. Now this we will read first. But the question is what? Critically examine. His postulates. First, he is a blind follower of E.B. Taylor. He is a blind follower of E.B. Taylor. He is a complete armchair anthropologist. At least E.B. Taylor, he stood from his chair. He never stood from chair, just thinking, complete armchair anthropologist. And he is famous for religion, magic, religion and science. Which is, magic is followed in savagery, religion is followed in barbarism, science is followed in civilization. That is obviously criticism. It is not, it's a dead-end approach, there is no scientific evidence, he is complete armchair anthropologist. The place of religion, he told magic was insufficient, so he answered, for the questions which were being put against magic, he brought what? Religion. And the religion was also people unsatisfied, hence got what? Science. Multi-species, little bit. Section A was easy, comparatively. Section B is little bit tough. I accept. Purum kinship system is a googly. Purum kinship system is a googly. I accept it. I also accepted that I told that 2-3 questions will be googly. You have to be ready for the googly. If you don't write Purum kinship system, don't worry. If you don't write multi-species, multi-sited critical ethnography also, don't worry. But if you get confused here, that is easy. If you get confused here, it is your mistake. If you are unable to write answer, for this, no problem. It's a bouncer. For everyone it's a bouncer, I am telling you. How many of them return today, August 31st morning 9 to 12? 99.9% of the aspirants who return today mains morning, it's a bouncer for everyone. So you should not think about it. But if you are confused here, this type of question, then it is your mistake. Subject knowledge is missing. Conceptual clarity is missing. If you don't write this, this is your mistake. If you don't write this, this is your mistake. If you don't write this, it is not your mistake. Bouncer. I am sure 99% of the aspirants don't know about this. Everyone will write about ethnography. The question is not ethnography. The question is not ethnography. Then what, sir? Multi-species, multi-sited, critical ethnography. Simple meaning. Multi-species. In understanding of man, in the process of understanding of man, how other species will help in understanding of man. If I treat a dog well, if I love animals well, if I am vegetarian, if I love plants, so my way of living can be understood by various species. That is called as multi-species ethnography. Understanding of man from various species point of view is called as multi-species, multi-sited. Understanding of culture of different areas of Africa, of Asia, of Europe, understanding of cultures based on geographies is called as multi-sited ethnographies. Based upon different species, it is called as multi-species. Based upon different geographies, it is called as multi-sited. Critical ethnography. Studying those aspects of the culture, where the political systems are fixed, unilateral political systems are fixed, power systems are fixed, whereby one section of people are asking for reforms, where one section of people are asking for change by taking examples of other society. That is called as critical ethnography. Understanding of the society in order to remove the established political system and to bring a political system which is democratic in nature is called as critical ethnography. This is three things: multi-species, multi-sited and critical ethnography. But however, with ethnography also we can write answer. How? I will tell you. See. Sir, but I know only ethnography. No, sir. How, sir? 10 marks, 10 crore rupees. Then, ethnography is the concept which is given by Lewis Benford. According to him, in archaeological evidences, whenever we get the tools, to understand for what purpose the tools are being made, we will go to the people who are at this backward level, who are primitive level, we go and ask for, if I give this particular tool, for what purpose you will be using. Then from the information, the input which we get from the primitive people, we will apply in the today's society and we will come to a conclusion that this tool might be used for this purpose. So tools point of view, when we study the cultures, it is called as ethnography. Political system point of view, when we study the ethnography, it is called as critical ethnography. Only one word need to be added. What is that? Political point of view. Removing established political system and bringing reformative political system point of view when we understand the culture is called as critical ethnography. Your ethnography is correct only, but one word should be added. That one word is what? Political. Evolutionary significance of menopause, you know that. Menopause what? As time is going on, the menopause age is reducing. Before that, menopause definition, the cessation of menstrual cycle is called as menopause. Two anthropologists we will remember. One is called as Raymond Pearl, other person is Kamath. According to Raymond Pearl, it is how much age is the menopause? 48 years. And in India, it is somewhere around 46, the menopause is there according to Kamath. Evolution significance. What is evolution significance? The reproductive age is from menarche to menopause. If the menopause is more, that means 52, 54, 56, the chance of giving birth will be more. The fertile age will be more. If fertile age is more, the population will increase. When the population is increasing, whether evolution will happen more? Evolution will happen more. If menopause is reducing, the fertility age will be reduced. If fertility age is reduced, the population will be reduced. When the population is reduced, evolution hampers. So in that. What are the factors responsible? That also you heard. What are the factors responsible for reduction and increase in menopause? What are the factors? Genetical factors, environmental factors, social factors, nutritional factors, economical factors, psychological factors, stressful job. Menopause will reduce. Anthropology example. Which example? Baiga woman, 18 years to 38 years. Only how many years she is fertile? 20 years. Then what is the chance of evolution of Baiga people? Baiga people population will reduce or increase? Why? Because menopause is by 38 years. How we are understanding the question on the moment? (5C) Fission track dating method, and this is not googly. I gave you PYQ book. Tomorrow or day after tomorrow, I am going to produce reflections. What, sir? My classroom PDF, 5 books I will be comparing and I will be giving the reflections. 5 books. For every 5 days, I told about this 5 content. For every 5 days, I discussed about 5 content. One is classroom PDF. Second, McGraw-Hill's publications book. 2. Number 3, model answers for the test which I keep. 4th, 1000 case studies and PYQ books we gave. PYQs 2014 to 2024. PYQs book we gave. And 5th is value added content. In PYQs book, the fission track is there. Complete anthropology book, fission track dating method is there. Fission tracking method is nothing. When it goes under the ground, the tools which go below the ground, when we go deeper, the uranium content which is there in the ground will start impacting the nearby tools which are present beneath the ground. And this uranium will create some tracks. That uranium will create a few tracks. How many tracks are present? Those many years back. For every track, this many years back calculation will be there. 10 tracks, 10 into 10,000 means how many years back? 1 lakh years ago. So how many tracks are there? Those many years back. Absolute dating method. How to write first? Dating method is inevitable in understanding the archaeology and archaeological evidences. So in understanding, in knowing the dates of the specimens, we are having 2 dating methods. One is chronometric dating method and relative dating method. Half page completed. Then absolute dating methods are 1, 2, 3, 4. Radiocarbon dating method, potassium argon dating method, thermoluminescent dating method. And relative dating method, fluorescence, fluorine dating method, stratigraphy, more. Relative dating method, collagen method, patination method. Then in this one of the very important absolute dating method is fission dating method. What I told that you have to write. Mitochondrial DNA and human evolution. If you remember, I told one concept, 3-parent baby. I told this concept, 3-parent baby. What is 3-parent baby? When the mother and the father, when they produce zygote, yes or no? If we come to know that the zygote, the fetus is having some genetical disease. If I come to know that already mother is having some genetical disease, this can go into the baby. Then what we will do? We will take the mitochondria of third person, mainly woman, and we'll take the mitochondria of the woman and we will fix in this particular zygote. So now baby became how many? 3-parent. 2 mothers, 1 father. And third mother is just she gave what? Mitochondria. Now why mitochondria? Mitochondria is having evolutionary significance. The mitochondria is present in female line. The mitochondrial DNA is present in female line. Wherever the female is suffering with genetical disease, one of the major factors is mitochondrial DNA, which she got inherited from the evolutionary line. So, 3-parent baby, why we are only transforming mitochondrial DNA? Because mitochondrial DNA is having the history of producing genetical disease, that too only in women. Human evolution. The 3-parent baby you will write and mitochondrial DNA you will write. Fetal origin of adult disease and contribution of David Barker. If you remember, I told David and Blake. David and Blake, 8 factors I told, if you remember. David and Blake, 8 factors for understanding the fertility. Proportionate marriage. Proportionate marriage, next. Sexual intercourse, next. Widowhood, next. Celibacy, very good. Celibacy, next. Divorce and separation, next. 8 socio-cultural, 8 factors he told, if you remember, David and Blake. Fetal origin of adult disease and contribution of David Barker. So, he is a person who discussed about fertility, and he is a person with the help of Blake told that there are 8 factors which are responsible for influencing fertility. But however, this also I told, but however, multiple times I told, just remember, but however, if the fetus is malnourished, if the neonatal baby and the fetal newborn baby is malnourished, whether it is reversible or irreversible, irreversible. This concept is also told by him by the name called as fetal origin of adult disease. If the newborn baby is having malnutrition, then 100% sure that when this particular malnourished baby become adult, will suffer from diseases. What are the genetic markers? Discuss their applications in understanding population variation, disease association and forensics. What are genetic markers? ABO, blood group genetic marker. What are genetic marker? RH is a blood marker. Human leukocyte antigen is a genetic marker. Major histocompatibility is a blood marker. Genetic marker, transferrin, haptoglobin, blood enzymes, G6PD. These all are genetic markers. Population variation, whether population variation is there or not. For example, blood group, when it is coming to west to east, when it is coming to east to west. Diseases, genetic marker, G6PD. If G6PD is deficient, the person will suffer with what? Glutathione deficiency. When glutathione deficiency is there, man will become old quickly or not. And forensics. It is used in forensic. Why? Blood group. One blood group is there or RH incompatibility is there. Genetic marker is what? A hair in which DNA material is there. These all are genetic markers. So, what are genetic markers you will write? You will discuss about few genetic markers, application in how it is understanding of human population, understanding in disease, understanding in... The agenda of biological anthropology became more scientific from the middle of 20th century. I told you, 17th, 18th, 19th, 20th century. This is called as what? Old physical anthropology. This is called as what? New physical anthropology. Here it studied only about what? Physical features. Here we studied about what? Why the physical features are like that. What are the reasons behind it? What are the environmental factors for it? Means what? Genetical factors, environmental factors, social factors, economical factors. If you go and watch the recorded video, you will come to know. Old physical anthropology and new physical anthropology. Agenda is what? Not just studying the physical features, also analyzing reasons behind it. Describe briefly the theoretical perspective in linguistic anthropology to explain the relationship of culture, language and thought. Tell me. Only one answer. This is the answer. Sapir-Whorf hypothesis, but you can also add cognitive. Whether culture will trigger thought or not. Ashanti tribal community, what they will tell? How many members are there? Sir, 1, 2, 3, 4, more than 4, sir. There is no fifth number, there is no sixth number, there is no seventh number, so the thought is limited only to 4. So thought is influenced by language, and the language is because of what? Culture. That Sapir-Whorf hypothesis you will write, and you will also write cognitive anthropology also. Why? Because culture is responsible for thought and thought is responsible for culture. And you will also write about Levi-Strauss. What he told? Culture and language both are homologous. Means I am trying to bring more anthropologists, more Marx. Levi-Strauss also told or not? Culture and language are homologous, analogous. How the study of variation in forms of marriage led to rethink. How the study of variations in forms of marriage led to rethinking on the concepts of social reproduction, kinship and family. Various forms of marriages. How many forms are there? Yes or no? Again two. What are those? Marrying sisters and non-marrying sisters. What is it? This is fraternal, non-fraternal. Fraternal means what? Brothers. Tibetans. Example is what? Tibetan. Whereas polygamy, I use one word. Sororate. Polygamy, non-sororate and polygynous marriages. How it is influencing? Social reproduction. Who are my relatives? Who with social reproduction means how we are going for contact with other people. No, all are endogamy or not. So this complete concept you have to write. What are the major theories proposed in support of the origin of food production? How the change in subsistence economy brought revolution during this? Little bit tough, but nothing. First, need-based theory, which is told by God-on-child theory, need-based theory. The food resources are reducing. People understood that we have to produce more food, but how we have to produce? I am depending on nature, so he mastered to produce food by himself. Hence, domestication of animals and food production. God-on-child. Second, climate change is happening. So complete environment is changing. Second theory, climate change. Complete environment is changing. Ecology is changing. Food availability is reducing. So he started thinking more. Second. First one is what? Need-based theory. Second, which is also called as theory of use and disuse. Second is what? Climate change. The climate is getting changed. How the change in subsistence economy brought revolution during, who told Neolithic revolution? God-on-child. Why it is called as revolution? Because of food production. Critically discuss the centrality of African continent in the narrative of human evolution. Multiple times we discussed. Evolution of man happened in Africa. Evolution of man happened in Africa. Stabilization happened in Europe. These few phrases I will discuss multiple times. I told multiple times. Few people commented me also. Repeatedly, sir will be telling the same thing. Same question. Centrality of the African continent in the narrative of Dryopithecus, Australopithecus, Australopithecus africanus, Tuang baby, Homo erectus ergaster. Then we went to Europe, Homo erectus heidelbergensis, Homo erectus pekinensis and javanicus, and settled down in Europe, which evolved into Neanderthal and further evolved into Homo sapiens. But birth happened where? Africa. Which is also called as out of Africa theory. Means everything is happened out of Africa. Out of Africa means not out of Africa. Out of Africa means everything happened out of. Anta mee valla, evari valla? Africa valla. How the theories of postmodernism are relevant in promoting social justice and empowerment of marginalized communities? You tell me. Just remember. Yes sir, I heard somewhere means tell us. How the theories of postmodernism, what coming after capitalism is called as postmodernism? First, postmodernism is questioning what? Postmodernism is questioning what? narratives. What they told, postmodernists. The theories which were being given up to now are being British anthropologists, they are colonial masters, so they had written ethnographies according to their wish. Hence they questioned the narratives of ethnographies. So what they told, we want the ethnographies of the people. We don't want the ethnographies of the colonial masters, we want the ethnographies of colonies. Number one. And when you are collecting ethnographies, please don't collect the ethnographies from the top people. You have to collect the ethnographies from the people who doesn't have voice. So when you get the data from the voiceless people, that is called as original culture. So this questioned what? The hegemonic people. Hegemonic ethnography is written by British anthropologists. So it is asking to take ethnographies, it is asking to collect data from whom? Voiceless people. Means what? Deconstruction, if you remember. All the theories need to be deconstructed and again need to be constructed. Who told this? Jacques Derrida. Jacques Derrida, what he told? Postmodernist. Jacques Derrida told all ethnographies need to be deconstructed and new ethnographies should be constructed, which should be inclusive, which should be, data should be collected from all the sections of the people. Empowerment of Genome-wide health disease association studies, advanced hour and disease. 1 minute. Genome-wide disease association studies advanced our understanding of health and disease. Yes or no? Genome studies had advanced our studies or not? Today we are having CRISPR-Cas9. We have CRISPR-Cas9, we have gene editing tools, we have genetically modified organism crops, we have gene therapies. We are using genomes in forensics. For example, Andhra Pradesh government had made the genomes of all the rowdy sheeters. It became very easy to find the criminals who are present in the crime scenes. Genome studies are advancing our thought process or not? These are all examples you have tried. Last, examine the utility technique of human remains in forensic analysis. Examine the utility of human remains. Examine the utility of human remains in forensic analysis. Discuss utility of human remains in, what are the utilities in human remains? Tooth, hair, skeleton, bones, blood, semen, sputum. These all are utilities. In forensic analysis, fingerprints, bones, foramen magnum, structure of the head. Then discuss the facial reconstruction. How the facial reconstruction, if you remember, I told you yesterday also this facial reconstruction. How? Caucasoid, Mongoloid, Negroid. Caucasoid, Mongoloid, Negroid. How they have foramen magnum, how they have occipital torus, how they have supraorbital ridges, how they have foramen magnum, how they have frontal lobe, how they have mandible. This is facial reconstruction. How they have tordontism. Tordontism is present with whom? Negroid. Where the tordontism is completely absent for whom? Mongoloid. Tordontism is little present with whom? Caucasoids. So facial reconstruction I can find in forensics or not. Who is the person killed? Female, male. Whether we can identify by supraorbital ridges, male or female. With the size of the bone, whether we can come to a conclusion what is the age of the skull. In this way. So the end of the discussion, from this what are the lessons learned, sir? Most important. Sir, from this what are the lessons learned for 2026 attempt? Once you read the content, new idea I am giving you now, new idea. You sit with your friends. for that one unit. Up to now you were been preparing model answers. Now you prepare model questions. This is the content. Based on this content, what type of questions might come? So your thought process will evolve. Genome studies I did. So how the questions can come from genome studies? Forensic anthropology I studied. What type of question might come? So you brainstorm on what type. I had know the content, I have the information, I have the answer. But this answer for what I have to put, that is the reason. Optional answer writing is compulsory. That is the reason I force you to write the test. I request you to write the test. So more of writing will improve your standard to attempt any type of question. Why? Because when you are writing, you will have a thought process. You will link. It's a multidiscipline. Answers are multidisciplinary in nature. Any doubts? You can ask me now. So again we will have it 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock. Thank you.